Henry comes out and basically Joe Henry basically made it very clear. I want the NXT title. Oh, whoa. So you're telling me a TNA superstar is on the verge of going after the NXT championship? Okay, this might be the ultimate game changer. And my God, if this actually happens, this would be, without a doubt, the biggest talking point in 2024. This would be bigger than anything in wrestling. Another wrestling company star taking away a rival company's championship belt. Now, I'm not talking, back in the days of like when they had the alliance in WWE, how you had a WWE star with a WCW. No. That doesn't count. That does not count. I don't care what anybody says. That doesn't count. This would be bigger if Joe Henry, TNA superstar, is able to capture the NXT championship. This is WWE property. Do you know what would happen if an NXT title goes to TNA? It would be massive. It would be a game changer in wrestling. None of us would see that coming. And it might even happen. There's a really good chance that could happen, folks. Imagine that. All Ego Ethan Page versus Joe Henry would be a hell of a match. But there is something that did happen later in the night that also kind of flipped the switch on us where we're like, whoa, wait, hold. There might be somebody else at the dinner table, because Joe Henry might have also ruffled a feather or two of someone else in the house. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But Anthony Florio, Joe Henry called his shot. He's looking at that TNA. TNA stars looking at that NXT World Title. Could we get it? Is it possible? Henry versus Page for the title?
I would love to see it. But here's the thing. We all would love to see it, but no one would love to see it more than the gentleman who just arrived to the scene here, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we'll get his thoughts in a little bit.
You better believe we will. But all right. You did leave. I did get a little sidetracked. I don't know if you mentioned about Wesley jumping Joe Henry.
But I did leave that out. Yes, I did.
I thought so. Okay. But I just wanted to get that out there. So now let's dive on in. Ethan Page carried this segment with his facial expressions. He has stood out every week in his ability to adapt to his rivals and play to the crowd. Ethan Page versus Joe Henry was an inevitable match after the TNA star defeated Ethan Page and Shawn Spears in July alongside of Trick Williams. It is a good idea that will guarantee an invested crowd. To some people, it is highly unlikely anyone from TNA would win NXT Gold, but if anyone was going to do it, Joe Henry would make the absolute most sense at this time. Wesley's involvement continued his rise as a new top heel for the Gold brand. It'll be interesting to see how far he can rise with his new brutal character. So that's really all there is to say on this. Great segment here. You could say segment of the night. So there's more to this than meets the eye. We'll get into that in a little bit. So there isn't anything else left to say except Michael Bullock, your guy, your new favorite wrestler, Mr. Joe Henry. He made his intentions clear. He wants the NXT championship.
Yeah, he made it perfectly clear. He wants that NXT championship, but yeah, I mean, the last person, like you said, I mean, we all expected to confront him with Joe Henry, but the thing is, he he even said last week, you he wants to be around NXT a lot more, and now he wants the NXT championship, but just as he made his intentions clear, that no good Wesley, what a sleazeball he is to ruin a moment. I mean, just as the crowd was singing his theme after Ethan Page left, that sleazeball decided to be the, what shall I say? He decided to be the party pooper, and decided, all right, enough of this whole Joe Henry BS. This is all about me, Wes Lee. And we'll get into his promo later on. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yo, we will have plenty to say about Wesley here tonight. He definitely made quite an impact, especially on his promo. But we got the first fight of the night, guys. We had was a Heritage Cup match. It was Tony D'Angelo putting the Heritage Cup on the line against Charlie Dempsey. And, well, after the first round, nothing happened. So it went the full 3 minutes. 56 seconds in round number 2, Tony D'Angelo went up 1-0. Round 3, nothing happened. Round 4, nothing happened. So now you're almost at 9 minutes. You're almost at 9 minutes, 56 seconds. Round 5, about 2 minutes in, Charlie Dempsey getting the fall back. So that's about 11 minutes total. And then the final fall, the 5th round, Charlie Dempsey wins the title. He wins the Heritage Cup in 202. So it is a total combined time, and if my math is correct, I could be wrong, but if my math is correct, I have it now at 13 minutes, 58 seconds, the winner and new Heritage Cup champion, Charlie Dempsey. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
He didn't do it by himself, though. Oh, no. He had help. Plenty of help. In the form of the newest member of the No Quarter Catch Crew, the first lady of the No Quarter Catch Crew, Miss Ren Sinclair. 3.5 stars. Right around the 3.25, 3.5 plateau here. This was a solid match with inconsistent pacing, but a compelling story. Charlie Dempsey has finally found his way back to the Heritage Cup after obsession overtook him in recent months. NXT could have done more to solidify Dempsey as a serious competitor before giving him the Heritage Cup back. But Ren Sinclair's inclusion clearly means this is a turning point for the No Quarter Catch Crew. If the plan is to fully commit to them from this point on, it is vital that the group keeps on winning. Random losses previously left Dempsey in a hole that he still has not fully crawled out of. Tony D'Angelo had a solid run with the Heritage Cup. Last week's teases with Obafemi could be a sign he will shift his focus to a different championship after this loss. What matters most is to keep the Don relevant in NXT until there is an opening for him to get a main roster call-up. Ren Sinclair told Charlie Dempsey, I'm going to stay involved in No Quarter Catch Crew business now that I'm an official member. And then at the end of the round, Dempsey caught D'Angelo with a knee strike after the bell in round 3, and then Ren Sinclair slapped Charlie Dempsey afterward to motivate him. So that's really all there is to say on this. Wow. 3.25, 3.5. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, we got a new Heritage Cup champion, Charlie Dempsey. Didn't do it by himself, though. Ren Sinclair, the difference maker.
Well, obviously, she's a huge difference maker now. I mean, the group was wondering. I mean, would Ren Sinclair be detrimental to the team? And after what we saw last night, she is that, because she helped Charlie Dempsey bring the Heritage Cup to the No Quarter Catch crew. So, yeah, we'll see how this plays out. If this is the turning point for them. So 3.25 to 3.5, I agree. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This was a fine match, and it was a good battle. And yeah, like you said, Ren Sinclair proves to be the difference maker, and she definitely is. She's a spark plug. Let's say it, boys. She is a spark plug. When you get slapped by that girl, she wakes you the F up. And that's exactly what she did. Charlie Dempsey got fired up. You noticed it too. The minute she slapped him, you saw he just, like, the light went off. And you're like, oh no, it's about to get serious. Because you remember, I think she did that to, I don't remember, was it Miles Bourne or was it to somebody else? Where she slapped and he just lit. He just, like the fuse went off on him. And that was the same thing. It was that kind of attitude, that kind of thing. And hey, whatever it worked, it worked. She wanted to be a part of the group. She said, I'm going to be a lot more vocal. I'm going to be a lot more in tune with you guys now that I'm a part of your crew. And Dempsey probably is like, yeah, all right, whatever, Toots. You can be a part of the business, whatever. Like, I think now he's got to think that, hey, she's a bargaining chip. I can use her. She actually does carry some weight now, and she has helped me out. She was able to fire up the guys. She's now helped me win back my Heritage Cup. You got to think deep down that he owes her. He does owe her at least something for the good things. Because if it wasn't her, I don't know if he walks away with the Heritage Cup. I don't know if he gets that possession of that beautiful cup again. He does. He's got it. He's the Heritage Cup champion again. And it was her. And you could say she carried a lot of that weight. We got to see how this plays out. So nothing more to say. Next up we had was Eddie Thorpe going up against Lexis King. Lexis King wins the match in 3 minutes and 9 seconds. If we want to talk about it, we can. If you don't, then we can definitely move on. Your call, guys.
Move on.
All right. Next up we had was Tatum Paxley and Lola Vice. Lola Vice winning the match in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm thinking that's probably going to get tossed out the way. Okay. This ain't. Wesley cuts the promo. And well, he explained why he did what he did. And he basically talked about, kind of went there about the Zachary Wentz situation. And then there's something I cannot believe he actually did. And this absolutely almost made me sick to my stomach. And that was, he talks about, Wes going off with Trey to be TNA wrestlers while he stayed for the NXT championship. But then he says to Zachary Wentz and then actually said, and wish Zachary Wentz the best in his future endeavors. Whoa. Okay. We know where that went. If you know the story of why Zachary Wentz was kicked out of NXT the first time around, it was a messy situation. Let's say that. I don't think we should be at liberty to talk about this. I think it would be insensitive because there was a lot of stuff that happened at that time that was very not wrestling that went down. A lot of allegations, a lot of let's just say there was a lot of stories of abuse, and there was a lot going on with Zachary Wentz outside of WWE. He was known as Nash Carter. You know all that story. And he ended up getting released by WWE because of it. And it was a very sore subject. And I'm glad Nash Carter was able to redeem himself, get his life back together, and for him to be in TNA and is having a lot of success in TNA. Good for him. I get why Wesley said it. You want to get the nuclear heat. You're trying to make yourself on your own. And I think there's no doubt about it. I think it was a perfect play. And if you really think about it, it's a logical move. Because in a way, if you're in Wesley's eyes, yes, when you left NXT, I never was really the same for a little while. I had to really bounce back myself in order to get the success that I got. So, does he harbor ill will towards Zachary Wentz because of what happened in the past? Very possible. Like I said, this is actually very good storytelling by Wesley by connecting the dots from the past and bringing it to the forefront. Now, I know a lot of people will disagree with that. I know a lot of people really felt like Wesley never should have gone there. But if this gives us Zachary Wentz versus Wesley, TNA versus NXT, I don't mind this. So, Michael Bullock, I know you had a lot of things to say about this because you're one of those that was not happy with Wesley, but over the comments he made last night.
I'll say this, Fletch. I mean, professionally, this was the right move because you want to get that nuclear heat on Wesley, and that's what he's done. But for me personally, and Fletch, I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, Wesley didn't need to go there.
Oh, yeah, it was out of bounds. I agree.
He was out of bounds on that. I mean, look, what Nash Carter or Zachary Wentz, what he did was, I mean, it's an uncomfortable subject for me to even talk about. I mean, with the whole thing with Zachary Wentz and Kimberly, the allegations, it was the whole he said, she said thing.
And if you remember, Michael Bullock, and I'm sorry to interrupt because I know you, because I always hate when you interrupt me, but I have to interrupt you on this. And
Go ahead.
And the thing is that if you remember, a lot of people were actually siding with Nash Carter, was siding with Zachary Wentz, and basically denounced and basically threw Kimberly under the bus by basically saying that you were a manipulator, that you was a liar, that you were all this stuff. And a lot of the fans were actually siding with Zachary Wentz, Nash Carter at the time.
And they were going after Kimberly.
Yeah.
Because they feel like she was the run that ruined Zachary Wentz's run with WWE. His first
Absolutely. Run. Because if you remember, he came off the fact of winning the title.
Yeah, and the thing is, and that's the thing that really gets me too. MSK were the NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
And then she had to go and do this and ruin what was, who knows what kind of a run MSK would have had with those NXT tag team titles. We'll never know.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say this. I don't know where you think, Fletch, but I'm with the people here. I mean, look, did Zachary Wentz do some? I mean, did he do some things wrong? Absolutely. But the thing is, now he's redeemed himself.
Yeah.
He's a different man. And it's just sad the way this first run with MSK had to end like this. It's sad. And man, it's just, I mean, you could just tell by me right now, Fletch, that it's just,
yeah, it bothers. It bothers. It was,
and it's uncomfortable to even talk about.
It is definitely a very sore spot because of what went down. And remember, this was right around the same time of the Me Too movement. So it wasn't just that, because there was this one era that was very dark for professional wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to gloss over it, but there was a lot of wrestlers that was in the line of fire.
Like
Matt Riddle, Joey Ryan. There's a few of them that were being accused of sexual misconduct, of bullying, of mistreatment of stars or of certain individuals. And there was a lot of that going around, and it was really bad. It affected a lot of companies. It wasn't just that. It affected WWE. It affected AEW at the time, because there was a couple of guys that were in AEW that got cornered into this. And a lot of it, actually, believe it or not, actually was hotbedded in Europe.
Yeah.
And it got very ugly in Europe. The Rev Pro Wrestling got hit with it.
So it was a dark time in professional wrestling with this whole Me Too.
Yeah. I want to say, I think it was around 2021 or 2022. Yeah, it was rough.
The thing is, look, with the women, I mean, look, I appreciate that they come out and talk about all these things that happened to them.
Oh, they're
my only issue is, why wait this long? Why wait this long to finally talk about something that happened a while ago?
You know what? Okay. Let me try to preface this very carefully, and I'll try to explain it to you probably in the best way that I think. Let me just think about it this way. I feel like a lot of the times, and I'm going to be very, like I said, I'm going to preface this, so I want to be very clear.
And be very careful as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of the times when you go through something traumatic like that, a lot of the times you need a process. And a lot of the times you can't really process it like right then and there. Sometimes you need to open up to somebody, or somebody needs to say, hey, what's going on? Why, what's on your mind? Something like this. And sometimes they bury it deep inside because they feel embarrassed. Sometimes they feel ashamed. Sometimes they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this actually happened, or this or that. And a lot of the times, certain people is afraid of, oh, if I come out, what if I get retaliatory?
Especially in the days of social media, where they'll get attacked. So, and I'll be brutally honest here, Fletch. Like, no matter what, it's a no-win situation.
And I think that's why the Kimberly situation, because when she came out, fans piled. Like, they came after her bad.
Well, where were you on the side of all that at the time?
I kind of felt like it at the time, like I felt bad for her because of the allegations and everything else. But the thing was that all of a sudden there was evidence that, wait a minute, some of this might not be true.
Is she really
And
telling the truth?
exactly, because you don't know. Because I want to say this, and I don't want to preface this because I'm going to be very careful with this. But I know somebody who was in the wrestling business who got caught in that Me Too movement. He did something that wasn't professional, and I don't want to air the guy's name out because I got that much respect for him. But
Yeah,
his career,
just leave it at that.
I'll leave it at that. But some comments he made that was not professional to a fan, and he got in. He basically his career ended right then and there. He lost everything in one
And
fell swoop.
it's like he had everything going until he
Until that until the certain person came forward on social media and aired out what had happened.
and that's when his career was literally flushed right down the toilet.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you want to say it that way, yes, it was.
I'm just trying to be respectful
Yes,
with the way I say it, because I don't want to
yes,
say something that's gonna
yeah.
get
No,
me in trouble.
that's no. And that's why I appreciate you being very vigilant about that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not an easy thing to say. It's
Yeah.
not an easy conversation to have because the
thing is, if I say something that's going to offend someone,
exactly.
I could get in big trouble. All three of us,
Exactly.
all three of us, could be in big trouble to the point that I don't know what to think, but our show could get shut down.
The thing, and I get it, and I totally understand that, and quite frankly, yeah, it is like sometimes in life, in sports, in everything, it is a great form to at least talk about it if we do it the right way. If
Yeah.
we understand why, and that's the thing. All these women and men, because not just because there was even female wrestlers that got caught in this too. So that
Yeah.
was basically doing it to the men. So
the thing is, Fletch,
mm,
I'm with you. I mean, there are some things that Kimberly said that were probably not true. I'm not going to say it's completely false.
yeah,
There are some things that I think that are not true that
yeah,
really ruined Zachary Wentz's career.
yes,
His first go around with NXT.
yes,
But the thing is, he redeemed himself. He learned from everything that happened. And he's a different man now. So, all in all, I'm going to say it's a no-win situation for anybody to even talk about this. So, yeah, professionally, it's a good way to build heat on Wesley, but professionally, they didn't really need to go there. They really didn't need to, because it's uncomfortable for me. I'm sure it's uncomfortable for you, Fletch, and I'm sure it's uncomfortable for you, Anthony Florio. Correct?
Absolutely 100% correct. And I'm going to add my 2 cents to this as well because it needs to be addressed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
okay,
Oh, yeah. So there's no doubt about it. It's going to lead to Zachary Wentz against Wesley.
they actually confirmed
No
it.
Mercy.
It's going to happen at No Mercy. Yep.
But I'm going to say this right now. This is going to be the most personal match in the history of NXT.
Yeah.
Because of all the things we just talked about.
Yep.
This isn't going to be a match. This is going to be a flat out fight, and I think these two are going to tear each other apart. I mean, they don't care about winning or losing because this is so deeply personal where they just want to rip each other apart. That's just how I feel about this whole thing. So nothing more to say. It's your Sledge.
Yeah. And the thing is, like we said, the way that they handled the situation, great on the heat and everything else. And Wesley basically was throwing Zachary under, saying that he was tired of being, that support system for him. That, that you ran off the TNA to have a great career with Trey Miguel while I'm still struggling in NXT. So he basically was throwing the heat, throwing the anger, throwing the hostility towards Zachary Wentz. And like I said, right or wrong, whatever you may feel, this was great theater. But the thing is this is Wesley's first time ever as a heel. Because I don't remember, and Anthony, you can help me out on this. I don't ever remember a time where Wesley was a heel. I don't think the Rascals were heels in TNA. I know they were goofing off, clowning around with the treehouse bit, but
well, the current incarnation, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, they did act like heels up until this whole Wesley thing.
Yeah, so that was kind of more or less what was going on. But this time, it's basically it's basically Wesley saying, I'm cutting you out. I don't need you. I can do this on my own. And that's why he said, I am going to take you out at No Mercy, and I'm going to show you what I'm capable of. Zachary Wentz versus Wesley is going to be a banger. It's going to be a fight of the night level match. And if you're fortunate enough to get a ticket for that match, that's going to be a marquee fight. And it truly will be NXT versus TNA when we get there. I don't mind the storyline. I didn't mind the whole thing. Yes. Did it get uncomfortable in certain elements? Yes, it did. Because it got a little too personal for us because of the track record, the history, everything that Michael Bullock and myself had talked about. It got to that point. So it definitely adds a little added fuel to the fire. Did we need it? Agree to disagree on that point. But I don't mind it. I thought they did a really good job with it. Anthony Florio, it is all yours. Like we said, there's certain elements of it where, yes, there's some uncomfortableness, but if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, this was a good point to add the fuel to the fire for Wesley versus Zachary Wentz to go one-on-one at No Mercy. So it's kind of, did they really need to go there? Not really, but it is justified in the way that Hunter, Triple H, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and the sensitiveness, especially by WWE and the brass, to create a storyline like this, I think they did a good job under the circumstances, at least in my opinion.
Definitely. But I want to commend MF and Bullock for bringing that up. I mean, it's definitely something that most assuredly needed to be addressed. And as someone who, and of course, as you all know, I am a man of good faith, and I am a man who, always believes in doing the right thing. And there's nothing I take more seriously than that. And what happened there years ago, that whole Me Too thing, I got to be honest with you, it was most definitely unfortunate what happened. And I'm with MF on his stance on it. I agree with everything he said on it. I felt the exact same way. And a message to anybody out there who may be going through it today. Don't be afraid. Don't ever be embarrassed. if there's someone that you trust, like a family member, a friend, or a clergyman, or somebody
who's abused you, or who's sexually assaulted you, or anything that's terrible that happened, don't be afraid to speak up.
Don't ever be. You're absolutely right, Bullock. 100% on that. Don't ever be. I mean, if there's somebody that you feel comfortable talking to this about, like I said, like a family member, a friend, someone in the clergy, I mean, or an advocate of some sort, do it. Do it. You'll feel better, and then justice will come your way, and you'll have your day. So don't ever be afraid or embarrassed to talk about anything, whether it's that or anything else of that matter. If you have people that you trust and you feel comfortable talking to them about it, do it. Simple as that. I mean, you could talk to us. I mean, we would damn sure listen. I know I damn sure would, because I'm a damn good listener. So, and that's what we're here for. So we strive to give you folks the best damn content each and every time we do this. And what MF and Bullock just did, that's as damn good as it gets right there. So commend you boys for that. Bravo. You got my respect for you guys went up even more tenfold than it already has. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I mean, I know.
Thanks, Florio.
I know that, and trust me, man. Sometimes to tackle subjects like that is not easy, because it
could be just 10 times uncomfortable to even talk about.
And a lot of, and also it almost feels like walking on eggshells sometimes, because you don't want to offend the wrong people. You always try to be, and that's the thing. You always try to toe the line and try to be as professional as we can be. Exactly. And I know, and a lot of the times, it's such a hard tightrope to walk on. But I'm glad that at least, coming from you, that means a lot. And I hope the fans also understands that that sometimes doing things right can always turn into those type of moments. So, I mean, like we said, like Bullock and I was talking about, and you even alluded to it, always try, those type of situations, anything like that, it's a lot of times it's never easy to open up, because you feel certain ways or feel certain emotions, because it's like the emotions are very raw, it's real, and
the thing is,
it's not easy to open up.
The thing is, it's,
go ahead.
Sometimes, like you said, you have to just draw the fine line with what you talk about, because this day and age, all it takes is for one little slip up, and someone can get offended.
It's over.
It's done. Exactly. It's over. It's done for. And if one of us were to slip up, our show could probably get shut down.
History.
I know. We know. And that's why we always try to be very cautious with the content, with what we say, and everything else. And a lot of the times, there's been moments where we have slipped up. There has been moments where the emotions get to us, and we
May 19th, 2017, perfect example.
Oh, there's more than just May 19th, 2017, Florio. And and I know there's been a few times where we've gone off.
That's the night it got the most out of control.
But in all seriousness, boys, when it comes to a subject like this,
we
are united in this front.
Especially when it affects women. That's where we really have to draw a fine line.
And what do we always say? What do we always say? Even with the other guy, what do we always say? And any man who does anything, whether it's hitting or sexually assaulting or whatever, you're not a man. You're a coward.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm lucky and blessed to have such a beautiful girlfriend that I love so much.
Amen.
And I would never, ever, in my wildest dreams, do anything like some of the stories I've heard.
Yeah.
Because I want to be the most respectable man who would love and honor the woman that he loves.
There you go.
Here,
Well
here,
said.
here.
You know what? We wasted enough time. Let's let Florio get his thought. Yeah.
With all that being said, in the immortal words of Jesse the Body Ventura, let's get back to wrestling, gentlemen. So
sure,
okay.
I'm good with that.
Let's do it.
Okay. The reasoning for Wesley's betrayal of the Rascals was clear, though he did not sell it with his delivery. Typically a confident promo, his words came off as insincere and toothless. One of the most questionable aspects of this promo was how Wesley made it sound like working for TNA was a lesser role to working in NXT. While the Rascals may respond well, it comes off as insulting to WWE's primary talent partner. Pete Dunne and Joe Henry getting involved muddied the immediate story, even if Joe Henry needed to get his lick back after the opener. Wesley should not be challenging Zachary Wentz to a No Mercy match and asking for an NXT championship match or an opportunity at the NXT championship at the same time. Wesley harped on about his issues with Zachary Wentz, especially, which made it feel like Trey Miguel was barely a factor, despite taking the first super kick last week. And Ava, General Manager Ava, had one more announcement for next week. A number one contenders triple threat match. Wesley, Pete Dunne, Joe Henry, the winner, will challenge Ethan Page for the NXT championship at No Mercy Labor Day weekend in Denver. So that's the story here. Second best segment of the night here. Excellent discussion there. Well done, you guys. And so with all that being said, from here on in, it's wrestling and nothing but MF. Let's go.
Obafemi going one-on-one with Otis for the North American title. Obafemi winning the match in 10 minutes and 37 seconds. Fine match, good battle. About 2.5 stars. Could have been better in certain areas, but it was a good little big man slapping meat type match. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Yes, indeed. And I got to give it a slight disagreement. About 3.25 for this. At this point, this was by far the most fun of the night so far. Otis continues to deliver in big moments and deserves more. While he was never going to win, he allowed Obafemi to work a different style that forced him to rally for the victory. The North American champion remains the most compelling figure in NXT, but it's time to give him a clear rival again. If the teasers are going to pay off, Tony D'Angelo would fit that role nicely. So that's really all I can say on this. 3 to 3.25 stars. Sleeper fight of the night for me. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, a be a man fight and then some. Outcome never in doubt, but Obafemi still the NXT North American champion, and who knows, could Tony D be his next challenger, especially after he lost the Heritage Cup earlier in the night?
It could be, but I mean, right now Obafemi is the most dominant North American champion, maybe the most dominant champion right now in NXT, because he's turned back the challenge of so many challengers. It's like, who's next? I mean, who knows? But 3.25 stars. I'm with you on it. So not going to really talk more much about it because we have wasted so much time on something which I still feel like was important. So
yeah,
let's just move right along.
Izzy Dane going one-on-one with Brinley Reese. It was Izzy Dane winning the match in 4:12. We're gonna move right on along. Main event. We're gonna get into this though. It was Nathan Frazier and Axiom putting the NXT Tag Team titles on the line against Ridge Holland and Andre Chase, representing Chase University. Winner of the bout, 10 minutes and 9 seconds, and new NXT Tag Team Champions, Chase University. History made. Unprecedented crowning. Fire the tripod confetti. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Oh, and seeing that tripod confetti, you know it brought a smile to my face like it always does. I mean, whether it's NXT or in AEW or those WrestleManias that had it at the end, especially 30, but another story. But oh boy, 3 1/4, 3.5 for this. This was a fun main event. The pacing was awkward due to the limited time left, setting up a repetitive series of near falls, but the action was tight thanks to the talent involved. Andre Chase and Duke Hudson have better chemistry than Andre Chase and Rich Holland, but it made sense in story to pivot. Chase U should keep the gold this time for a while, hopefully start building a division around the group. SmackDown or Raw could use a tag team like Nathan Frazier and Axiom. So hopefully this will not lead to the duo splitting up. NXT is clearly trying to build buzz on the road to the CW, but this title change felt sudden. Chase U could not afford to lose again, but Frazier and Axiom won last week before losing this week with a 1-week build. This could have been built at least over a few weeks, if not waiting for No Mercy. Still, Holland proved himself to Chase U and finally brought gold back to the university. It was a nice climax to his story as Chase U's newest recruit. So, not much more to say here. 3 1/4, 3.5. Great moment for Chase U. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, new tag team champions. Andre Chase, Rich Holland. You want to talk about redemption? What a redemption story for Rich Holland and a full circle moment, as we always talk about in our chats. I mean, great full circle moment for Rich Holland, especially, where he was some time ago.
Yeah, with the Brawling Brutes, and he didn't know where he was until he went to Chase U, and now he's an NXT tag team champion. So, yeah, I think this was the right call because, like you said, a loss for Chase U would have really hurt them, and then who knows what would have happened. But, yeah, so what did you get for a rating, Florio?
My apologies. 3 1/4, 3.5 is my rating for this match.
All right. I'm in that same range, too. 3 1/4, 3.5. So nothing more to say. It's your sledge.
3 1/4, definitely, no doubt about it. History being made, unprecedented crowning. Chase University gets the belts. I mean, it was a pretty cool matchup, pretty cool moment for me. Really nothing more to add. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the overall review.
7 out of 10 for me. I thought it was a good show. I mean, there were a couple bad matches, but other than that, nothing really that much to complain about. So that's all I'll say. It's your sledge.
Total agreement. I can give this a solid 7 as well. I thought they did a really good job with certain elements of the show. Like you said, there was a few matches that were a little too short for our liking. I really think they could have done better with that. But at the end of the day, it served its purpose on certain elements, certain areas. So I really got nothing bad to say there. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Last night's NXT was a step down from the explosive Great American Bash, but it was paradoxically more eventful with 2 title changes and major build to No Mercy. The fights of the night, the top matches of the night were great. Nathan Frazier and Axiom delivered once again before handing over the NXT Tag Team Championships to Chase U. Obafemi and Otis had a fun one that especially highlighted the talent of the veteran who has yet to win gold. Charlie Dempsey rose back up the ranks to regain the Heritage Cup, and hopefully this run will be better than the last. Wesley and Joe Henry especially got time to shine on the microphone. The direction of All Ego Ethan Page versus Joe Henry at No Mercy is a smart call based on the chemistry between them last night. The rest of the show was the usual NXT filler. Nothing got enough time to stick. Even hype matches like Lexis King and Eddie Thorpe were over in 3 minutes. Still, for the typical weekly NXT fare, this was better than most, and it should keep fans talking for weeks to come. 7 to 7.5 out of 10 for me. So, with that, gentlemen, MF, we move on. AEW Dynamite, as we are on the penultimate Dynamite before we get to Wembley and All In.
That's right. And we were at the Chartway Arena in Norfolk, Virginia. All right, so we started off with Mercedes Monet, of course, Camille in her corner, going up against Hikaru Shida, and this was for the TBS title. And the winner of the bout in 10 minutes and 30 seconds, and still the TBS champion, the CEO of AEW, Mercedes Monet. Solid match, solid opener match. I could say this was about 2 3/4 to 3. I think it could have been a little better in certain areas, but I think it served its purpose. Like I said, it was a fine match. Dr. Britt Baker did show up after the match was over, and we'll see how this plays out. So I thought it was a fun match for the most part. Anthony, it is all yours.
3.25 for me. I'll tell you what. These two seem to be evenly matched in most ways. They traded offense in a way that made it feel like neither woman had any clear advantage physically, which meant Camille's presence would be the difference maker. The crowd got hot and chanted for both competitors to show their enthusiasm. Mercedes ultimately scored the win to retain the TBS championship, but Britt Baker's entrance music cut her celebration short. Camille attacked someone she thought was DMD, allowing the real Britt Baker to take out Mercedes Moné in the ring. The match between the CEO and the Samurai was a great display of technical ability and skill. Let's hope this is not the only time these two cross paths. 3 to 3.25 stars for me. So, Michael Bullock, outcome never in doubt. We knew it was going to be Mercedes, but had Shida won, it would have been Shida and Britt at All In. But nope, it's going to stay Mercedes and Britt as it's been all along, as it should be.
Yeah, and of course with a little assist from Camille there. So, 3.25, 3.5. I mean, it was a good, solid way to start off this edition of Dynamite here. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
Yeah, so next up that we did have on the show, this was Adam Hangman Page versus Jay Lethal. Hangman wins the match in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Anthony, it is yours.
Again, 3 to 3.25 stars. Their match got started after Hangman attacked Jeff Jarrett backstage and began brawling with Lethal until they made it to the ring. And Jay Lethal nailed Hangman with several tope suicidas in a row to turn the tide in his favor, but a deadeye on the apron immediately put Hangman in control. And then from that point on, Hangman was firmly in the driver's seat. AEW has been building Hangman into a vicious, angry villain, and he has done a great job transitioning from a beloved babyface to a violent heel. Buckshot Lariat finished Jay Lethal off to end a solid match here. The deadeye on the apron looked really good. And Double J Jeff Jarrett, being used to elevate top talent is the best way for AEW to utilize him. And Hangman, you noticed at the end of the match, Hangman was bleeding from his mouth, you noticed. But another 3 to 3.25 stars for this one as well. So not much more to say except Michael Bullock. Oh, this new Hangman. Yeesh. Oof.
Yeah, I think, guys, this is one Hangman Adam Page you don't want to screw around with, because he's more violent and more dangerous than we've ever seen him, and literally attacking him, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett backstage. And when he was going for that microphone, part of me was like thinking, oh no, he's not going to really hit Renee Young as well, or Renee Paquette. I mean, we know he's violent and dangerous, but for him to do that would have been going way too far. But I guess they really want to push this, especially with his obsession with Swerve Strickland, and he feels like anybody that gets in his way of Swerve of getting to Swerve Strickland, well, to Hangman, there's hell to pay. And unfortunately for Jay Lethal, he suffered from that. 3.25. I'm with you on this. So, but this new Hangman is one guy you don't want to screw around with.
3.25 is my rating for the match. I think you're absolutely right, Michael Bullock. You guys basically did talk about it, so there's really nothing more to say on that one. Before we got into the next match of the evening, there was a big announcement that was made by Tony Khan. He has announced that it will be Darby Allin versus Jack Perry, the TNT title at All In at Wembley Stadium in a casket match. Oh, coffin match, I should say. Not casket, coffin match.
Right the first time. Right the first time. Right the first time.
What?
In our opinion, it is casket match. It sounds a lot better than coffin match.
I know. But I think WWE has the rights to the casket match.
That's true.
I think that's why they called it a coffin match. But it is a casket match. I'm not gonna. It's like potato, man. It's like, it's just different way, different sounding. And yes, I love the little joke. I'm a potato. Don't ask where I got that from, please. It's just I heard it once. It just stuck. It's social media thing. I think it was a TikTok. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Next up we had was Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly. Very important match, y'all, because the winner of this gets the #1 entry spot in the Casino Gauntlet match at All In. Orange Cassidy is the winner. He won the match. Pinning Kyle O'Reilly in 15 minutes and 55 seconds. I believe, Michael Bullock, you lead off on this, so it is yours, my friend.
3.5, 3 3/4 of a star on this one. I mean, yeah, like you said, a nice win here for Orange Cassidy getting into this match at All In. So there's really nothing more to say. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job with it. Solid match. About three stars is my rating for it as well. Really nothing more to say. Anthony, it is yours.
Respectfully disagree with both of you guys. This to me was the fight of the night for me. This was a good 4 to 4.25 stars. These are three men who are capable of working at breakneck speeds while still being technically proficient. So this was obviously good from bell to bell. During the match, of course, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, the Kingdom, they were driven off by Tomohiro Ishii and Mark Briscoe shortly before the commercial break. So their interference barely had an impact on anything. This match had the crowd on its feet, gave all three men a chance to shine, and included some stellar displays of physical ability. Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy also did a tremendous job being allies who both still wanted to win. In the end, it was Orange Cassidy who scored the win with a crucifix pin on Kyle O'Reilly. So there isn't anything else left to say here. Orange Cassidy has an awesome tope suicida. And let me just say this about Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. We know their history, guys. We know it going back to their days as part of the greatest faction in NXT history, the Undisputed Era. Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly have a level of chemistry few people can match. They know each other so well that everything they do looks as good as possible. So definitely had to address that. For me, this was 4 to 4.25. One of the fights of the night. I'll get back to you on fight of the night, but 4 to 4.25 stars definitely up there as a fight of the night for sure. And what's better than one title match, MF, on this show? How about a second title match?
Yes, indeed. And it was the Young Bucks putting the titles on the line against the Acclaim. And it was the Young Bucks winning the match by disqualification in 18 minutes and 5 seconds to successfully defend the AEW World Tag Team Championships because FTR hit the ring and jumped them. Look, the referee took a bump, FTR showed up, and the next thing you know, the referee saw the brawl go out, and basically that was the end of it. Unfortunate end for what was undoubtedly was going to be the fight of the night for me. I gotta punish this a little bit though. This was 4.5, but I'm dropping it to 4.25 because of the DQ finish. But still a solid fight to say the very least. Michael Bullock, no, actually, it does go to me. Anthony Florio, it is all yours. I can only give it 4.25. It was a great match in 1805, but the DQ finish takes a little something away from it.
Even though it worked, to be honest. This match was given a lot of time, so they were able to make sure all four men had plenty of ring time and moments to stand out. This felt like the kind of tag team match upon which AEW built its reputation 5 years ago in a good way. Once referee Rick Knox was taken out, Nicholas hit Max Caster with a low blow. He was going to use the belt as a weapon, but was thwarted by FTR. And then Dax Harwood attacked Nicholas Jackson to cause the disqualification, which led to a confrontation with the Acclaimed. And, well, there's nothing left to say here except Christopher Daniels, he saw enough, and he's like, I'm not letting it go down like this. Absolutely not. So because of this, because of the standoff with FTR and the Acclaimed, Christopher Daniels said, you know what? This Saturday night on Collision, it will be FTR versus the Acclaimed in a number one contenders match. Whoever wins will be the next outright challengers for the Young Bucks and the AEW World Tag Team Championship at All In at Wembley Stadium. So I don't know. I got a feeling some chicanery might go down in that one. I honestly thought Christopher Daniels was going to make it a triple threat at All In. And I don't know why, but my gut's telling me I think that we might still be headed towards that. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends in a screwy finish because of the Bucks. I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll see what happens come Saturday night on Collision. But for me, this was another 4 to 4.25 stars. This gets my second best fight of the night because we had a clear winner in the other match. The Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roddy Strong match. We didn't have that decisive win here. It was a cheap disqualification. Well, not really a cheap disqualification. It was a storyline progression disqualification. So one of the rare times it actually worked. So as much as we frown upon it, but still, 4 to 4.25 for me. It's the second best fight of the night on my end. So not much more to say here. Bullock, unfortunate way for this match to end, but kudos to Christopher Daniels for doing the right thing. FTR, Acclaimed, Saturday night on Collision, winners get to challenge the Young Bucks for the titles at All In at Wembley.
Yeah, I mean, an unfortunate end. I have to give this 4 stars. I mean, I was going to give it 4.5, but the DQ finish just really, really rubbed me the wrong way. But at least Christopher Daniels is gonna solve the problem, saying, you know what, it's gonna be the Acclaimed and FTR, and the winner will face the Young Bucks at All In. And I'm with you. I smell some chicanery. I think the Young Bucks are gonna go after both teams, causing the match to get thrown out. And then I think we're gonna get a triple threat match at All In. So that's what I think is going to happen. So the match is 4.5, but I'm going to bump it down to 4 because of the DQ finish. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I think we pretty much summed everything up on that one, folks. So really nothing more to add. So we did have one more match that we need to get into for the evening. That was the reigning, defending AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana in the corner against Wheeler Yuta, and it was a Swerve Strickland winning match in 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
3.25, 3.5 is my rating for the match. I mean, but I'm leaning more towards 3.25 when it comes to this. So yeah, I'm just gonna give it 3.25. I mean, this is obviously the right move here. I mean, you want to give Swerve some momentum going into his AEW title defense, and I gotta say it, one the biggest AEW world title match in a long time because of what's at stake here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the championship of Swerve Strickland against the career of Bryan Danielson. I mean, all I can say is 11 days can't get here fast enough, but the only question here is, boys, are we counting down the last 11 days of Bryan Danielson's illustrious wrestling career?
I know, yeah.
It could be, but we're gonna have to wait and see what happens here. So there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be very interesting to say the very least. But we'll see how it plays out. But I think they did a really good job with it. I thought it was a solid main event. I really enjoyed it. I really got nothing bad to say. Yeah, 3.25, 3.5. Anthony, it's yours.
What was the time on that one more time?
10 minutes and 56 seconds. Actually, no, stand corrected. 9:25.
That's about 3 for me. Wheeler Yuta is one of AEW's brightest young talents, and Swerve Strickland is one of the industry's best right now. So it will come as no surprise to hear they work together well and established chemistry almost immediately. They went into overtime, and Swerve hit 3 house calls in a row before stomping on Yuta's face. The referee ended up disqualifying Swerve Strickland when he would not relent, and it took Bryan Danielson coming in to chase him away. Swerve ran back down and hit Danielson with a house call to end the show standing tall over his all-in opponent. And Swerve Strickland's backbreaker is a great signature move because he can use it as a counter and an offensive move. And Wheeler Yuta now can say, I have a win over the world champion, even if it was by disqualification. So, Michael Bullock said it. I mean, it's the most excited I've been for an AEW title match in recent memory. And like I said recently, I haven't been this emotionally invested in Bryan Danielson since 10 years ago, WrestleMania 30. He got his big moment that night in the Superdome, WrestleMania. Big question is, will he get that big moment again at Wembley? Personally, I hope so. I would love to see Bryan get at least. I would love to see him get at least one last title run before he sails off into the sunset and honors that promise he made to Little Birdie. So, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens on it. But this was a solid 3-star match. So, with that being said, let's move on to the overall review.
Yeah, and I thought they did a solid job. I think this was more of a. I'll go as far as say 7.5, like we said with the NXT. I thought they did a really good job with it. Solid match. There was a couple of matches that you don't really need to really look at, but there's at least 3 or maybe 2 or 3 matches that you should definitely go out of your way and watch more than anything else. So nothing more to say. And Anthony, it is yours.
Respectfully disagree here, MF. I'm leaning more towards 7.5 to 8 for me. Tonight's Dynamite was a very strong episode in just about every way. The matches were all good to great. The non-wrestling segments helped advance various feuds, and the video package showed an increased effort to improve AEW's production. As far as the fight of the night is concerned, I'm going with Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. But any match on this show has an argument for being the best, but that one was the best for me. Hangman Adam Page and Jay Lethal had a violent encounter. The Bucks versus the Acclaimed was a fun tag title match. Hikaru Shida and Mercedes Moné put on a great show, and Wheeler Yuta looked like a valiant fighter against a vicious world heavyweight champion in Swerve Strickland. The videos for Mariah May and Bryan Danielson were terrific in completely different ways. Mariah May's was moody and intriguing, while Bryan Danielson's video used the classic Green Day song Time of Your Life to evoke emotions. That's one of my favorite Green Day songs of all time. All in all, I thought it was probably the best episode of Dynamite in the build to All In, and I think you should take the time to watch it. So I'm actually going to go a little higher than MF on this one. I'm going to give this an excess of 8, at least 8, maybe 8.5. So 8.5 for me. Nothing more to say except take us home, Bullock.
Oh yeah, this was definitely what did you give it, Florio?
He gave it 8 to 8.5. I gave it 7 to 7.5.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna go 7.5 to 8 on this one. I mean, I thought it was a good show. I mean, it did address some things, especially as we continue to go down the road as we get closer and closer to All In. So, just gonna have to wait and see what happens. So with that being said, Fletch, let's put a bow on this and set up the future content.
Oh yeah, we definitely do got some future content, guys, and it's coming up pretty fast. Friday night, we got a very loaded show. So we got Friday Night SmackDown, UFC 306. I'm going to be previewing that. And then the Big 3 final from Boston, TD Garden. We have the finals. There's going to be 3 games. A celebrity game, the Big 3 All-Star game. They actually just announced the Big 3 All-Stars for that game. And then at roughly, I don't know if it will happen, but roughly about 5 p.m. Eastern Time, the finals of the Big 3, the top seed Bivouac, the number 2 seed, Three's Company. Only one gets to walk away with the Dr. J Julius Erving Championship Trophy. Who will it be? First time winner, too. Bivouac has never been in the Big 3 final. This is their first ever attempt at the championship. For Three's Company, their second final ever. The only time they ever went there, 2018. They were in the finals. Season 2, Barclays, New York. Unfortunately, on that night, they did not walk away with the trophy. Nancy Lieberman, Cantino Mowgli, Big Baby Glenn Davis, and Brian Birdman Anderson took the title power, winning the championship. Cantino Mowgli with the teardrop that won the championship for power. Now, with possibly the MVP of the league, Michael Beasley, Mario Chalmers, head coach by Michael Cooper. Oh, by the way, Cooper was the coach of Three's Company when they got to the finals back in 2018. Will they be able to finish the story for Anthony Florio and Three's Company to hoist the Dr. J Championship Trophy? We will find out on Sunday. All games on the mothership, CBS, and on Paramount Plus if you can stream it, by the way. So nothing more to say. We'll preview that all on Friday, 10:30. Then right after that, then on Monday we do it all over again, and this time it's a big week because we'll start with Ridiculously Raw and then come back here 1 week from tonight. We'll do another edition of Wednesday Night Madness. So, for Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom. Share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. Be a friend, tell a friend, say something nice. You can actually change their life. Hugs and hand pounds. We are out. And until then, we'll see you all on Friday. So long, everybody.